Welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Grayson. And this isn't a corny sitcom, so we don't have like intro music or whatever, but
Just a laugh track.
just a laugh track. How was exam week for you, Aiden?
About the same as yours. We took the same exams on the same day, just different rooms.
Spoiler alert.
But we studied late the night before all of them, so.
Yeah. It was a lot of studying. It was like an insane amount of studying. We studied like until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. most days.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I think they went well. We'll find out. So, we find out in like 18 days. So,
Yeah, we do.
no one's counting or anything besides me. But exactly 18 days, and then I will know whether I can be happy or sad about this semester.
We'll have to lock it in work. To be fair, if we locked in that hard and do badly, we know how much harder we have to lock in next time.
Yeah, that's facts.
Which might be low-key killing ourselves. Might be the lock.
Oh my gosh, man. I can't lie to you. If we don't get at least
B pluses.
oh god, see Civ Pro.
Well, I can give you Civ Pro Grace because of like the
my
quiz
good
stuff. Yeah. But on
con law and property, if it's not at least a B plus.
Yeah. See, I would settle for a B on property, even though we locked in hard on it, just because it's like a hard class to get above a B in.
God, I feel so good about the property exam. I felt so good about it. Dude, I threw away my property notes earlier, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I remember this problem exactly. I remember the intricacies of it. I remember the fact pattern. Like, that I can't say because that's an honor code violation, and I would never do anything to violate the South Carolina bar
Character and fitness.
character and fitness.
There you go.
I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
But dude, I love exam week because my only problems in my life are those exams. Because I don't care, like, during that time. Because I don't care about anything else. And I love it. Because I love being able to lock in on a goal. And knowing, like, it's going to, a specific date, like, what you've got to lock in on, what you've got to cover. Like, to me, that's, like, when I thrive. Because I can just stress out about one thing and don't have to worry about anything else in my life. You know what I mean?
I could not believe how I didn't think I was that stressed, and then as soon as we finished the last one and we walked outside, I was like, the birds were chirping. It was like 78 sunny with a slight breeze. I was like, wow.
We went beezing.
We went beezing. Like, wow, my life is perfect. Like, nothing could be better than this. And I was like, wow, exams were making me depressed. Holy cow, I feel great.
It's like a Noah Kahan depression, though. It's like a good depression. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I wasn't, like, sad. I was like, holy cow, though, this is, like, drowning me how much I was, like, I couldn't enjoy free time during exam week because I'm like, I need to be studying. It's 3 a.m. Why am I still awake? I need to be studying right now.
Yeah,
so I have to go to bed so I can study more.
Even hitting golf balls was like not. We were talking the whole time we were doing it.
Yeah, of course. Before you went there, I was listening through the.
Sure.
Dude, Quimby Barbary Bar Prep saved me.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, we're here to talk about the economy, which is, as I'm told, roaring. The Dow is up. Is it?
Today? I don't know.
It is.
It is.
It's up 0.025% today. We're up over the past month, 6 months, year, 1 year, 5 years, and we're actually even up over the entire lifetime of the Dow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess.
It doesn't shrink.
So I've been told.
Dude, have you seen the 2008 financial crisis? Like when the Dow shot down like half of what the total was like the week before. Have you seen that? It was at 20-something thousand points.
I'm looking at it right now.
And then it went down to like 13.
In 2008, right before the recession, it was at 12,700. And then it plunged to 7,000.
Okay, so it was so it started at like 13 and went down to
COVID, it was at 28.9. And the next month it plunged to 23. And then again in 21, like at peak crazy, it was at 34 and it plunged down to 29. And then we've gone through these like mini recessions, and now we're up all the way to 50,000. So like the kind of scary thing is the rapid growth between like it was not, and this is compound growth as well, so some of this is predictable. But the problem with compound growth is you get to the point where it becomes exponential towards the end of an exponential lifespan, and you're like, oh freak, this is moving kind of quickly. That's kind of scary, and we're in the kind of scary era now.
So I'm a firm believer. Obviously, the way the economy works, there will be a bear market. There will be a recession at some point.
Yeah.
And we kind of had that during COVID. And I'm not an economist, neither one of us are economists.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, I'm a humanities guy. This is not really my thing. But
I'm a YouTube economist.
But I don't think COVID was a real recession in the sense that, like, yeah, the stock market went down, but we hyperinflated our economy on purpose during COVID to, like, mitigate the damages. And I actually think that because of that, we didn't get a good cleansing, a good bear market, a good recession, and now we just compounded the mistakes that we would have had then. And in a year, I can't predict when it's going to happen, but it will happen.
Yeah, no, it's got to happen. That's the way the market works.
Interest rates are high right now. They should not be cut right now. The housing market's a nightmare. Oil's a nightmare right now. I wonder why. We don't exactly have a president who's going to, or Congress who is going to base their economic theory on Keynesian economics. So we're not going to put a lot of government spending into the economy right now. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, COVID was the era of free money. We just printed and printed and printed. If you said you needed a loan and you had like a small business that lost $30,000 annually, we just gave you however much you asked for. And we had low interest rates and free money for years and years and years. And it wasn't until like 23 or 24, the beginning of 24, that we started to bring those interest rates back down to earth. Or I guess actually raise them up back towards the moon.
I know
we got to a normal level. And it was like, okay, the free money is kind of, we're weaning off the free money, and the economy didn't like that. And now we're in this weird limbo where jobs are really bad and the inflation problem is really bad. So the Fed can't fix it with a rate cut or a rate hike, and we just got to thug it out until something happens.
The economy's resilience right now is terrifying.
We need a war. Gosh.
That's getting clipped. Lockheed Martin's just going to bust down the door. We like this guy.
How would you like a sponsorship?
We're going to have 1.5 million views just because YouTube's going to boost it hard just so we...
Dude, please get me on Tucker. Please get me on Hannity. Please get me on whatever.
Tucker does not want a pro-war position.
That's true. He's like the only guy who doesn't want pro-war. Just get me on Hannity, bro. I'll shill so bad. I'll shill. You've never seen shilling. Like, I'm about to shill for Lockheed, bro.
I mean, you're not wrong historically about wars helping the economy.
Yeah.
But...
I don't want war. I don't want war.
But...
I want a good economy.
Yeah. The reason I'm worried about the resiliency of the economy right now, the tariffs, the oil prices because of the Strait of Hormuz, the housing market right now, literally everything that has happened in our economy in the past, at least this administration, the past administration, and even Trump's administration before that, should have created a market that went into a heavy recession. Just should have. And the fact that we're not in one and that the economy is actually kind of doing okay right now is terrifying to me. Because it's like a bubble. Like, when is it going to burst?
Have you heard the term? You literally just described it. Economists have been saying this for about like 6 or 7 months now. Have you heard the term K-shaped economy?
I've heard it. Describe it a little bit.
Okay, so the K-shaped economy is this theory that we're living in a world of two Americas, where for people that are doing very well, the economy's great. The Dow is up, the S&P 500's up, the market's doing phenomenal. Real estate is hyper appreciative. So people that have the assets, they're doing great. But the people that were kind of doing all right, and everyone else who wasn't just doing great beforehand, has been going down. Because you look at consumer, so we're going to get into recession indicators. Recession indicators are important because they let you kind of gauge how the economy is doing, inflation-wise, economy-wise, as a whole, with jobs, money, yada yada yada.
And it's sometimes like goofy way.
Yeah, and it's sometimes goofy. Some of them are actually like really statistical.
It's not super dissimilar to why Grindr goes crazy when the Republican convention's in town. It's the same.
Aiden knows that because Aiden's on Grindr.
Yeah, no, we're Republican.
But like an example of both ways would be like the Consumer Spending Index. The University of Michigan does their annual consumer spending index, and they do a monthly report that's front-facing consumer data that reflects how people feel about the market. That has been trending down. Another easy statistical way to see like how is the sentiment of the economy is looking at credit card debt. Are people putting more on credit cards as opposed to paying cash or debit or long-term stable secured loans?
Did you hear that Trump administration official go on the news? God, I forget. I think it was Fox News. That would make sense. Like earlier this week, and said that it's a great sign for the economy that people are still using their credit cards more than they ever have.
Oh my god!
Did you see that?
No.
Swear to God. But he literally went on there because when he said that, I was like, surely he knows about this. He went on the news earlier this week and said that. He said it's a great sign. What people aren't talking about, and I don't understand why people aren't positive about the economy right now, is we're not covering the fact that people are using their credit cards more than they ever had. He said that's a great sign that consumer spending is great right now.
No, it's the opposite, bro. It means people are putting groceries on layaway.
It means we have no money.
Yeah, like...
because we're in debt.
I mean, we have Klarna, bro. We have Afterpay. We got 4 easy payments of $7.49 to pay for Taco Bell.
Affirm, yeah.
Like, people are putting Taco Bell on their credit cards. Like, that's not a good thing. That's an easy one. And then, like, a funny one would be, like, most people have heard of, like, the stripper index, where strip clubs do really well when the economy's well because people have loose cash. And they do really bad when the economy's bad because people don't have loose money. Another funny one that a lot of people haven't heard of is the underwear index, which is men specifically. Women don't really fall into this. It's mostly a men's underwear thing. Is you look and see, is men's underwear selling? Mm-hmm. If the answer is yes, then the economy's doing good.
Dude, I just bought underwear today at Target. We're doing great.
But if men are buying underwear, they're like, it'll be fine. With 5 holes in it, they're still like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
If the economy's doing bad.
Yeah. Well, so there's also the prom limo theory, which is if people are buying limos for prom, like renting limos for prom, then that's a good sign for the economy. There's also a theory about like cosmetic stuff. So if people are cutting their own hair at home instead of going to get a haircut, that's also a really bad sign for the economy.
Yeah.
All of those things, from what I've heard, are actually pointing to the fact that we would have a recession right now.
Yeah. So the funnier of these are basically just all vibe checks.
They are vibe
like,
checks, yeah. And they're common sense.
Yeah, and they're funny. Some of them are really funny, and the statistical ones I think are really interesting, but they can get a little heady. So we're going to break them down. We're going to talk about some of the more interesting ones here, and we'll see where we go from there. So,
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's talk about some of the more important statistical indicators. So, like, one of the biggest examples of consumer spending going down, or like a recession indicator that you see, is what are people putting on their credit cards. So when the economy's in a normal place, what do you think people put on their credit cards?
Commodities,
engagement rings, personal loans. The credit card pays for flights, it pays for Airbnbs, yada yada yada. Yeah, but you look at what people are putting on their credit card. When people are putting like groceries and fast food on their credit card, like right now, it's a problem, right? Those aren't commodities. Those are necessary expenses. One easy way to look. You also look at things like personal loans, or if people are cashing their checks as opposed to direct deposit. And you're like, okay, well, what's going on there? People need money early. You see the rise of apps like Klarna in this Afterpay idea, which is literally just debt but rebranded, where instead of buying that Amazon water bottle for $20, it's 5 easy payments of $4. But if you miss one payment, it's like a 70% interest rate. Yeah. And it's like, holy cow. Yeah. This is like ridiculously predatory. But that's what happens when the economy's bad. You give way to predatory policies. If we look at something like a more broad recession indicator, we would look at like national GDP.
Yeah.
National GDP's down.
Yeah.
You know, technically, when I say down, I don't mean literally has decreased. I mean the rate of increase has been sluggish.
Do you have an equation for how we calculate GDP again?
Okay, so there's actually 2 different ways to calculate it, according to Claude, which is not our sponsor, but we will accept it as a sponsor from Anthropic. The first equation is the expenditure approach, which you add together consumer spending, investments, and government spending, and then you multiply it by exports and imports, or exports subtracted from imports. So as long as we're exporting more than we're importing, go figure.
Which we're not.
Yeah, but it's about money.
Right.
Which the other stuff offsets that because we create a lot of American products. And American products are usually more expensive because, well...
Which is why tariffs have such a massive influence on the U.S. economy.
Yeah, because we are an importing country.
Yeah.
We export a lot. We're like the third biggest exporter in the world, I think.
True.
But we are the biggest importer in the world.
Yeah.
So that's not good. There's a lot of other stuff.
Okay. Well, I think that's good for GDP analysis. Yeah, well, importantly, like the U.S. dollar is being threatened internationally right now, as it could no longer be the global exchange currency, right? Because China, Saudi Arabia, India. Do you remember all the countries that came together?
BRICS.
Yeah, well, we could just Google it. Is it defamatory if I say a country that's not actually doing it?
No. Who are the BRICS countries? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. That's BRICS. And they're trying to get their own currency, basically.
To make it so the U.S. currency isn't the exchange currency, which if we lose that might take away our hegemony from the world stage.
If the U.S. dollar slips from the place of being the global exchange currency, the U.S. is no longer the post-World War II superpower that we have been for close to 100 years now.
Yeah, true.
Because, look, basically every country on Earth has exported their manufacturing to China for the past 20 years, including us, to the point where China has got, Chinese-made goods used to be this thing you were like, oh, made in China, low quality.
Yeah.
But China's been doing it for 30 years now, so believe it or not, they've gotten really good at it.
Yeah.
So Chinese manufacturing is really strong. Chinese tech is really strong.
Yeah.
The one thing we still have over them tech-wise is chips, and we don't even have the chips.
We don't have the chips. Taiwan has the chips.
Yeah, we just basically own Taiwan.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, China gets most of their chips from Taiwan, too.
You mean Chinese Taipei? We get our chips from Taiwan. They get theirs from Chinese Taipei. That's the difference.
Ball knowledge. What is this Taiwan we speak of?
Listen, I'll be real with you. I'm a proponent of the one China policy, and if Xi Jinping ever hears this, I would love an invite to Beijing. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I think the world as it was during the Cold War, post-World War II, with two superpowers in the U.S. and the USSR, even though we had an imminent threat of nuclear fallout or collapse, whatever, I actually think that was the best thing that could have happened for both countries, because we're in a binary system, then the rest of the world will be subservient to the binary system for all of eternity. If the binary system works, if they keep growing together and they maintain their hegemony in the world, then I don't think it would fail. But because the USSR collapsed, because the US won the Cold War, I think the world is too big and too interconnected to ever allow one hegemony to exist for indefinitely. I think since the USSR's collapse, all we've seen is the US just losing its share of power in the world, because the other countries, they're not just going to sit back and capitulate and let us just stay the world's leader.
Well, they did for a long time.
No, because look at when China started to industrialize, when they started to.
Yeah, I think China's the exception. I think China's the exception to everything. I think the Chinese ingenuity has been underestimated for years and years and years and years. And in the year of our Lord 2026, we are at a point now where I think most Americans, they're not there yet at appreciating what China is. Mm-hmm. But a substantial number of Americans have finally come to realize, oh, China is not this pit where all the people are brainwashed by communism, and they're more capitalistic than us in plenty of ways.
Yeah,
they just have a ridiculously strong.
We are so complacent in our hegemony; it's ridiculous.
I think pulling out of the WHO is the dumbest thing we've done.
Absolutely. Oh, this international system that has all this power is corrupt. Let's just leave it. Let's not worry about fixing it or funding it better, or I don't know. I just think that's terrible philosophy to have. If you leave something, it just makes it worse.
To me, the philosophy is, for the measly price of $150 million a year, we had a monopoly on all of the healthcare information and research in the world.
I don't know if we had the monopoly on that. I think But we had influence.
We got that.
Yes.
Any influential medical technology or innovation that was created in the entire world was reported to us, and we learned about it, and we were able to use that research.
Yeah.
We literally had access to every doctor, every medical institution, every WHO compliant organization in the world.
Yeah.
And we were like, nah, we're fine.
Well, and just to reiterate, we're talking about recession indicators, but U.S. hegemony has a huge factor to play in whether or not a recession would, kill our world standing or... Because the thing with COVID is, yes, the economy got substantially worse under COVID, but the entire world's economy got worse under COVID. The entire world was shut down for COVID. If it's just the U.S. economy that goes into a recession and the other countries stay afloat, I mean, we are SOL. China will overtake us.
I'll be honest, I think it's going to be very difficult if we don't change course quickly to prevent China from becoming the United States in their current form. Because
they'll never be the U.S. in their current form. But
I don't know,
depends
man.
on... You mean, influence and power, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The culture will never be the same.
No.
But it's a reason... Their culture is a reason why they're innovating so hard. I mean, I think the problem is not here yet. I think the problem is going to be 30 years from now. Because you look at the difference in Chinese education and American education. The problem China has is the kids are suicidal because the education's too rigorous. The problem in the United States is the education is so measly and mediocre that we have to import Chinese people to do our jobs.
Yeah. And it's not... The problem with U.S. education is, on its, surface, we're putting kids in a classroom for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 13 years of their life, plus college, which is almost a necessity now if you want to, really do anything, because we've devalued trades and everything else. So, on its surface, we're spending the time we're supposed to spend on kids. We're probably even spending the resources we're supposed to spend on kids. I don't know what the statistics are for how much China spends per student compared to the U.S., but I'm sure we spend more, if not similar. But, yeah, I mean, I think... I couldn't even tell you what I learned for at least half of the years I was in school. For an entire year worth of knowledge and content, I couldn't repeat a single thing I learned that year.
I remember a lot of my education from elementary school and middle school, and I remember a lot of it, which I think this is a good structure, but it has flaws. I think a lot of it was teach a concept one year, readdress it next year and build a little bit, readdress it next year and build a little bit, and they built and built and built. I don't know how many times I learned about Native Americans or how many times I learned about the different wars, but I surely didn't learn about the body count from the Civil War when I was in 3rd grade. But I visited a plantation in 3rd grade. We learned about what happened. But, I'm 9. I'm I like the guns. This is cool.
Well, we have I'm a huge proponent of civics. I'm a huge proponent of American history. But at the same time, civics are greatly important. I love it. But that's not what's going to get us ahead of China right now. We are failing in STEM fields. At what?
Yeah, so STEM is the biggest problem. That's where we have to import
Yeah.
Indian and Chinese workers because we just don't have qualified people.
Right.
Spending... The U.S. spends roughly $13,000 to $15,000 per student.
Okay. For the entire course of their education.
K through 12.
Yeah.
China spends approximately $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah. Well, they have so many more people.
So I think that's another metric why the U.S. is losing ground, is because our birth rate is right now just above replacement.
Yeah.
China is one of the only Eastern Asian countries that does not have a plummeting birth rate.
Do you buy into the theory? Well, no, they do. They have a huge aging problem in China because of their one-child policy, massive problem with
their birth rates right now, right?
Yeah.
So that's catching up to them in the moment, but their birth rates are stabilized now, as opposed to Korea and Japan, where they're literally looking like a 0.6 when they need a 2 or a 2.01.
I don't have a lot of bad things to say about China. For one, because I
like China.
For one, because I value my life, and
look, I think there's a lot to learn from China.
No, I do too. I think and it's the same thing that happens to every country that's not the U.S. to an American. We think of them as inferior in a million different ways. And as China, because they're our new USSR, essentially, they're our rival on the world stage at this point, we think of China as some godless, anti-humanitarian shithole that just exploits child labor and has a huge economy that cares nothing about its lower class citizens.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying none of that is true, but I think we grossly exaggerate those parts of Chinese culture.
Yeah, I'm not saying China's a happy-go-lucky place, but I'm saying we do demonize China.
Yeah, drastic. They're a very civilized,
It's just a
country.
It's a normal country that's really developed.
It's kicking our butts right now. That's what they're doing.
It's a country of normal people that have a pretty whacked government, but they're normal people, and they have a pretty normal market. They have a pretty normal way of life. We can talk about recession indicators. Another one that I wanted to look at, another recession indicator that I wanted to look at was the BLS survey, which I mentioned in our first or second episode, but I didn't get to.
Mm-hmm.
The BLS is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They're the people every single month, they have a jobs report. It comes out and it says we added 150,000 jobs. And then the next month it says, oops, we actually lost 12,000. My fault.
Yeah.
And they've done that every month for the past half year.
Yeah.
But what most people don't know is in their jobs report, how they gather that data. So the jobs that I'm talking about, that's from the business-facing payroll side. So they do 2 surveys in their jobs report. They do one which is literally a payroll survey, which they survey, it's about 120,000 businesses and government agencies, and they regulate about 700,000 individual workplaces and 700,000 payrolls. And they look at non-farm payrolls, which is headline job numbers. It's not I don't know, I can't give a good illustration without getting too heady on this, but basically what you need to know is it counts jobs, not people.
Right.
So you're trying to see not how many people are looking for a job, how many people are on payroll. And so a critical thinker might say, well, what about people with 2 jobs? Well, in this survey, they're getting counted as 2 people because it counts jobs, not people. That's the problem with this model initially. The other problem with this model is you may have payroll positions that are inactive. You may have payroll positions that were created that make the company look good but don't actually exist, which is a big problem. Ask how many people you know that have used Indeed if they have gotten a job with Indeed. Probably not, because a lot of companies create ghost jobs because it makes them look better.
Yep.
The other survey they have is a household survey, which literally goes to different households, kind of like the Michigan survey that I mentioned earlier, that monthly consumer spending index. University of Michigan, by the way, where they go to individual households and they say, hey, do you have a job? And they get reports that. And that one's bad. That one looks bad. But that one's not the popular one. People look at the headline number, which is that non-farm CES payroll survey. That's what people care about. That's where the big numbers come from, the big revisions come from. But the household data, there's flaws with that too, right? Because how many people answer household surveys? I do, but I'm a nerd, right? I'm a survey nerd.
I would, but we're not the sample size.
We're not the target audience.
I would probably be ecstatic. I'd be like, this is my whole afternoon now.
Yeah, if you have a job, are you going to be excited to tell? So, and there's the other thing is this is on them. So people might be embarrassed to say they don't have a job anymore. So they might not report that.
Yeah.
People without a job might just be sad they don't have a job and might not report that. So people might not be sure if they have a job. Gig work technically counts as a job, but it's not a payroll position. It's not stable employment. By the way, we can get, and this is going to be another indicator we talk about, gig work. The fact that people like DoorDash, Uber drivers, all-time high. That is not a good sign.
Also, all the usage right now is rock bottom. The number of people actually using Ubers right now is lower than it has been in a long, long time.
Which I think we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But the BLS statistics that have come through, the jobs numbers on their face actually look good.
Yeah.
But upon a more critical scrutiny, you can say, okay, well, there's something funny here. And it's not guys, this is not outright deceptive. It's not like they're trying to deceive us. They're trying to lie about the numbers. It's just we've used 1 as the headline number for years and years and years.
Well, no, they're not. Not with the way they survey.
No.
But we did fire the statistician that was in charge of figuring out the jobs numbers for the sole intention of making the jobs numbers look better, and then it did not make the jobs numbers look better.
Yeah, but that's just Trump's incompetency and Trump's emotionalism. It's not a deceptive plan. I mean, the fact that he fired somebody makes it not deceptive.
Yeah,
He's telling us what he's doing.
Yeah, no, it didn't change the job numbers.
No, and it's still bad.
Yeah. I mean, it initially made me question the validity of the numbers that would come, but they've been the same. There's
Yeah.
Revisions, by the way, are a new thing. Like, they used to not get... They got revised by, like, 1,000 or whatever. But these huge swings, and very, very new. And again, what's the word of the day? That's a recession indicator!
It would be like... It's very similar to, like, if I went and bought a lottery ticket, and I said, now I'm just going to predict, based on these first 3 numbers that I've scratched off out of 5... that I just made $2 million, and then I come back the next week and I'm like, actually, I just lost $20 on the ticket. And you'd be like, well, that's nowhere near the same thing. And I'd be like, it's basically the same thing.
You know what else is a recession indicator?
What?
Gambling.
Yeah.
You know what else is up? Gambling. I love gambling. I hate gambling. Sports betting especially. That's on the huge uptick, which is a recession indicator. But
my bad, guys. It's on me.
Yeah, Aiden is providing us recession data.
Yeah, between the underwear and the sports gambling, I'm really
you're killing us.
I know. I didn't use an Uber the other night. I walked, which has got to be a terrible sign for the economy. This is like 2 miles both ways. Oh, God.
I'm very Ramseyan in my economic strategy for most people.
Yeah.
I think Dave's got a good strat.
That's a beast.
That's a beast. How much money are you making this month? And you got $4,500 in credit card debt?
I drive a 2013 Toyota Prius. That's a beast.
Absolute animal. Love that. Dave Ramsey's strategy is you get a 6th-month emergency fund. That's the setup. After you have a 6th-month emergency fund and a 3-month saving account that has 3 months income and savings, a 6-month emergency fund, so you'd be fine just in case. Then every free dollar you have goes to paying down your debt. You sell any useless cars you have or any like expenditures that you have, and you just put your nose down and you grind. And it sucks, but then you get out of debt.
I do question whether or not someone should be personally worth over $1 billion. That's like an absurd amount of money to just have.
Yeah, no, I think the idea that a person can be worth more than most countries is kind of ridiculous.
Well, if we had a 1950s tax structure, you know, the progressive
big
era
conservative
of the
Aiden, once you go back to the 50s.
When they had a 97% tax rate on the highest bracket, after it's in the way it's tiered, so it's like...
Yeah, I know.
I'm explaining this to other people. It's tiered, so like once you get over...
Explain a linear tax, a linear progressive tax.
Okay, so if you make $10,000, your first $10,000, you're not getting taxed anything. Your first... And this is just rough. This is just an example. This isn't exact. But basically, your first 10,000, nothing. Your next 20, you might pay 10%. Your next up to 100,000, you're probably paying 20-something%. After 100,000, between 100,000 and 200,000, you're probably paying 30-something% on. And then eventually, in the 50s, now we cap at 30-something%. But in the 50s, it got all the way federally, but in the 50s it got all the way up to 97% after a certain amount of money. So say someone like Elon Musk, he's not getting taxed 97% on all of his money. He's getting taxed 97% after his 100 millionth dollar he made that year, which to me makes complete sense.
Yeah, because 100 million is like you won.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna profit off you winning.
I can't remember which comedian it was, but they said, I think it was Bill Burr. I think he was like, after you hit $1 billion, you shouldn't be allowed to make any more money. You should just get an award that said, I won capitalism. I think it's true. Now,
It's a party hat.
I know that like Elon Musk's wealth is in Tesla stock. I don't think the government should regulate how much of your own company you should own. I don't. I think that'd be ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
You're successful at that point. You own your company. Your company's worth $1 trillion. You deserve to be able to have your proportionate share of that.
And plus, too, he is the fact that they have Elon Musk is the reason why their stock is high. Like, no Elon and Tesla's not worth much.
But if you ever sell your stock and you sell $700 billion worth of stock, I absolutely think, or your share of the company, I absolutely think you should get the shit taxed out of that. Because, once it becomes liquid cash, it should get taxed.
It's like the lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, it should be like the lottery.
Yeah, so for instance, if you win the lottery, and I feel like everybody knows this,
It's about 60% of it goes to taxes.
I was gonna say, so say you win $1.4 billion in the Powerball, you're
You get about
even if there was you can either take the long-term payout or the lump sum. If you take the lump sum, you're also taking a lot off the top, because they're like, if you want all your money now, we're not going to give you all the money you're entitled to. It's like another option. You get less, but you get it right now, or we can pay it out over time and you get the full amount after taxes. So if you take the lump sum on a $1.4 billion Powerball, you're probably bringing home $300 and something million.
Yeah, which, by the way, just an interjection, everyone I've talked to who doesn't understand economics says, oh, well, my full amount, so I'm going to get it paced out.
Do you understand how interest works?
Yeah, so the way that inflation works
Yeah.
is the first few payments you get,
Yeah.
good. The next rest of your life payments are worth less than when you won. If you get if it was 1.4 billion, you'd lump sum about 500 million, you'd interest payout payment payout about 900 billion. 400 billion dollars sounds like a lot of money. But then you think about, man, if I had 500 million dollars and I invested that immediately, in 10 years I would get about a 10% return every year. That's what the market averages to, which means
a 10% return. Where are you putting it in? Stocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
The market.
Okay.
A diversified portfolio in the market and bonds averages 10%. That it's not every year 10%. It's over the course of its lifetime. So you have bad years and good years. But you average 10% over 10 years. That means you've just made 10% adds 50. Then another 10% would add 55. Then another 10% would add 62.5. And you add up and you're like, man, I just made $900 million in 10 years. And with the $900 million, you haven't even made 200 in 10 years.
This is nerdy, but like, if you got a $350 million payout, you're only FDIC insured for a single account for a non-married individual up to $250,000. And you're going to hit the interest rate up to $250,000 on a $200,000 account within like a few years. So, or a decade. So, imagine how many accounts you would have to be FDIC insured in all of your accounts as a single individual.
You just don't get insured on all of them. You keep them in assets.
Yeah, I'm too like paranoid to not be FDIC.
But that's assuming your cash is all liquid.
True.
Like if it's
the lottery, it is liquid, and you just have to figure out how to either non-liquidate it or keep it liquid. Okay, actually, look, dude, I don't know. I've never in my life. Dead honest, I've never in my life listened to Nick Fuentes in my entire life. But I
did not think that's where that was going.
But from what I could assume he sounds like, this is probably something I feel like he would say, and I just want to caveat this with I've never listened to him and I don't agree with him on anything. But I was gonna say, I feel like we should, as a society, really promote like men wearing like suits and like normal day-to-day life, and like getting back to like that like standard.
Yeah, that's his opinions.
I mean, I know he's like a fascist, but like genuinely, I just don't want to like. I don't want people to be like, this guy's really saying we should get back to the 1950s right now.
I think suits promote professionalism.
We have to wear suits all the time, so
we do.
I just feel like.
Well, you do. I get khakis and a button down.
No, I just feel like.
I love my life.
Yeah, I just feel like we'd be a better society if people had to like take care of themselves and go. And
Aiden thinks if you wear a t-shirt, you deserve the death penalty.
No, but like men and women, I think men and women should be held to the standard that we should both dress up a little bit when we go out, like going out.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I can't stand when I see dudes in sweats or like girls in workout equipment just like out. I'm like, dude, what the freak are you doing? Put on some pants. Like, put on some jeans, bro.
Yeah.
Put on some jeans.
Well, and again, this is not like a guy-girl thing. I hold the standard across the board.
I agree 100%.
I think both. Yeah.
I actually hold it strong with men because I think.
Yeah. Well, and I don't have a strong opinion on like I don't really care if girls wear makeup in public. I think makeup as an industry is horrendous. Like I think we should drastically.
You don't like the testing on pigs to make sure we're good to put on lunch?
No, I don't like how many chemicals we sell for as much as we sell.
I think that's like the point, right? Is to poison their skin so they grow hideous and ugly by 30?
Post-capitalistic world. I just like it's awful.
I love it. Have you read Brave New World?
No.
You've got to read.
Heard about it though.
Huxley.
Yeah.
They get a happiness drug, and that's what society basically functions off of. That's not makeup, but it's what I thought.
But yeah, so
talking about it.
Like again, caveat: I don't care about makeup. I don't care about that industry at all. I am not saying this is not a women thing. This is purely I think we as a society should take better care of ourselves in public and create a culture where we like take ourselves seriously. You know.
You know, on the makeup makeup is a recession indicator. People, instead of buying lipstick, people buy nail polish, and when times are hard, because nail polish is cheaper.
Yeah, but
It's the same flare effect. You can DIY lipstick easier than nail polish.
just chap the crap out of your lips. Just yeah,
Isn't that funny?
a little bit.
Well, I think we had a good conversation. Productive. We talked about some things that were economic and some things that deal with the economics, but overall,
So, Gray, how do you feel about the status of the economy right now?
I think I don't think we're in free fall. I think we're in a perilous position. Again, I'm not like a doomer, and I don't think this is like the worst case scenario. I think we're not in a good position, but I don't think anybody thinks we're in a good position. To be honest with you, selfishly, I hope it like crashes pretty soon before we have to go out into the real world and get like actual like long term jobs.
Dude, that would be a great time for us to be able to
be
able to afford a home. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, dude, if it would crash like in a year and a half, that would be so cash. That would be so cash.
And if there would just be a gross expansion of lawyer jobs, that'd be
Please. Actually, one of the only industries that has not seen serious layoffs. Because if times are bad, people want to sue people. And when times are good, people love to sue people. Thank you for your greed, America. You fund me.
Yeah. Here's something I don't say that often. I don't really think this is at all the fault of this current administration because not at all. But I don't think the main trends in the economy. I don't think really have that much to do with the current administration. I think these are things that have existed honestly since the 2008 recession.
I didn't go back to Reagan. I think it begins with Reagan, and every president since has just exacerbated it.
I don't think I've ever agreed with you more in my entire life, but I didn't think you would go to Reagan. I thought you would.
Yeah, I think the beginning.
Take it back further.
Look, I think all of them screwed it up. Clinton's economy was the strongest out of all the presidents we've had, and Clinton kind of got handed a good economy.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the '90s were just a great decade.
Since I think Ford, we've started running a ridiculous deficit. HW was the beginning of like the Wonga deficit.
I don't have a positive outlook for the economy, but like I said, the economy is very resilient right now. I think it's different than it ever has been, and I think that there's no way for me to predict what is actually going to happen, just because if I had my prediction, I would have said would have crashed by now. So who knows?
Well, I remember sometime last year, I called Q2 25. Or maybe it was 20. I guess it had to be 24, I guess, because it's 25. And I was convinced it was going to be Q2 25.
I actively told family members not to invest in certain things because I thought
I haven't invested. I liquidated pretty much everything I had.
Yeah, I did too at one point. I did too. Yeah.
All the crypto I had, all the stocks, because crypto just tracks the U.S. dollar. Crypto nerds say it's a hedge, but let's be honest, it tracks the U.S. dollar almost exactly. So.
But I 100% thought that we would have crashed a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So
who knows?
Anyway.
So if that's any relief, me and Gray have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, believe it or not, to college, to graduate law, whatever the free professional school technically. Two students have no idea what's going on with the economy, but we have some funny recession indicators. So this podcast is a recession indicator.
Sponsored by Palantir
and Lockheed. If we can get a job. Thanks for watching Contingency Plan.